If you're on YouTube and you're trying to grow, you're brand new, you're trying to figure it all out, well, don't feel bad. We're all trying to figure it out. So, in this video, I'm going to interview a couple of my friends and co creators. Something happened recently to all of our channels within just a space of a few weeks. We all hit 10,000 subscribers. So, I thought it'd be great to have them on. You hear from them, their tips, their advice, their struggles, and that way maybe it'll help you as you continue to grow as well. We did have some technical difficulties, mainly with my camera and my feed. So it's going to get a little janky at parts, but if you can kind of get past that, I think you're going to get a lot out of this video. So let's hop into it.
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Rob. My channel is really all about tutorials around creator tools, whether it's live streaming tools, editing tools, just different tips that things I've learned. I'm just sharing it through my channel. And that's really what it's about. It's just to serve other creators like myself that are also just doing the same thing, trying to do the same thing, build an audience and build revenue streams around that.
My name is Eddie Field, and I am the host of Field Guide to DIY. And we are a DIY home improvement woodworking kind of channel. And I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. And I was arm twisted into YouTube by Kevin Colby. And I want to express my appreciation for twisting my arm and getting me into this, and also for early on in the process, Rob did a channel review of my channel, and so that was, I took those to heart and applied those principles, and that's why we have the success that we have, and that's why we're able to help the folks that we've been able to help.
Why did you start your channel?
Well, back to what you talked about, you really did pressure me into doing YouTube. You kept, every time we talk, you say, "Oh, you got to do this. You got to do this." Why? Is because even though I'm in IT, I'm cheap and I'm a handyman kind of guy around the house. My dad was a general contractor, and so I picked up a lot of the techniques and trades, the tools of the trade, you might say, and tricks of the trade. And in so doing, I've been around power tools and done my own work around the house, whether it be electrical, plumbing, carpentry, whatever I needed to do. I did it. And then I've had friends like you come over and say, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "You don't know how to do this?" I'm like, and not just you, Kevin, but everybody that comes to the house, they said, and I took it for granted because that's the way I grew up.
Yeah.
And I've come to find out through more and more friendships that not everyone has that exposure. And so through your encouragement, I wanted to share my experience with others. And in that time since starting the channel, I've had my daughter has given birth to 2 grandsons. So this is sort of a legacy kind of deal where I want to leave this not only to folks watching the channel, but also to my grandsons so they can see how to do this around their house.
So Rob, same question for you. Why did you start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, why did I start a YouTube channel? So a few years ago, I started working in tech and software that was serving content creators, primarily YouTubers. And felt really weird to not really understand, what YouTubers go through, and building an audience and building a business around it. And so, I decided to put myself in their shoes and start a YouTube channel. And what are all the things about thumbnails and making a video and showing up on camera and figuring out your lighting and all that stuff. And so that was really the initial reason for getting into it, was just to understand our customers at the time. But like Eddie said, sort of this community started growing and people would ask questions, and I'm like, that's like what Eddie was saying, like, "Oh, you don't know how to do that?" Like, that's kind of like, it's, to me, it was really simple. And so rather than answering a bunch of questions one-on-one, let me just make a video, put it out there. And that's kind of what it's become. And then I, met cool guys like Kev and Eddie and all these other creators, and just really fell in love with the community and, just the art of creating content. So here we are now, kind of a few years later.
How do you guys come up with your ideas?
Ideas just come all the time, because my channel is, it's more tutorials, helping other people kind of go through different things, how to use different tools and different software, different strategies, right, with building an audience. I just kind of I just listen. I've kind of taken this approach of just listening and paying attention to the conversations I have with other creators, our customers, and I just kind of listen for patterns. Like, hey, I heard that question yesterday, so there's a couple people here that are asking the same thing. There's probably a lot more out there, and so this is a common question. Or I'll read comments, right? After, you guys know this, after a while you start getting comments, and it's kind of the same questions or same themes of questions, and so that really becomes, I would say, my ideas just come from the community.
What's your process? How do you come up with ideas?
Well, largely they come from two sources: projects or products. So if they're projects, for example, if I can get up, we had a need in the office here for guests to come over and stay a while. And so I built a queen size Murphy bed, if you can see that. So now we have a place for guests to stay. So I have an episode on how I built the Murphy bed. But also in making of the Murphy bed, I show how to use a skill saw or a circular saw or brad nailer, whatever. And so I also demonstrate how to use those tools along the way as well. And so I just, and also like Rob said, a lot of folks have questions or comments in previous videos that leads to other videos. I'm like, I didn't realize that folks didn't know how to change a circular saw blade, because they ask, hey, I saw that circular saw blade, I bought it, how do you change the blade? That's another video.
Yeah.
So
my little tip here too is that I have found a lot of great content coming up with ideas in Facebook groups.
yeah.
I'm in a couple where there's probably more beginners in there, even though not everybody. And, somebody will ask something. I'm like, ooh, kind of research that, or, think, oh, I know that. And some of those have led to some of my bigger videos, if you will. Has consistency been something that you have thought about, that you've struggled with, that you've been about for your growth to 10,000?
No, 100%. Yeah, consistency is probably the biggest factor in having a YouTube channel or being a YouTube creator. Consistency. I think it really depends on how you look at it. I think there's different seasons of your, if I look back, there was definitely seasons of like my channel. Not I don't have one of those channels that's kind of like blew up. There's channels out there you're like, oh, I've been around for a couple months, published 8 videos, and here we are with a silver play button. And mine was definitely not like that. It was 1 subscriber at a time. I think when it comes to consistency, looking back, I think that the one thing I want to say is that it's okay to take breaks. There's definitely seasons where I took breaks. I didn't publish for a long time. I didn't publish for 2-3 months, because really I was like, I wasn't burnt out, but I could kind of tell like, this is not as enjoyable for me anymore. I don't really want to be cornered into this topic. I don't want to just talk about live streaming, I don't want to talk about just like, this particular camera, and so I had to just kind of step back from my own mental health and all those things. And just still like kind of go back to what I really enjoy doing. Like, hey, what was the reason that I created this channel in the first place? Was to help other people and to also learn like how to be a creator and share my ideas and things like that. So yeah, consistency is definitely important, but I think it's also okay to take breaks. Like, don't feel like you got to publish every week, all the time.
I have the benefit of knowing you guys and watching but just share about consistency. Has it been a thing for you? Did it help you with 10,000? How does that work?
I like my own personal goal. I don't always make this goal, but my own personal goal is to have a new video every week. And for me, that's usually Saturday morning, because the DIY guys wake up in the morning and they just, well, I don't know what to do today. And so while they're watching This Old House or something along those lines, Tiny House Nation, they might be scrolling through YouTube and looking for projects. And so they might discover or land on my channel. So I like to have a new video every Saturday morning. That's my goal. Don't always do that. But what's been a challenge is some of the projects here around the house have been larger projects. So the underdeck patio that I'm working on right now, I've been working on that for literally 3 months. So we're coming to the conclusion, the finish line now. And those videos are coming together. I'm now having to edit that now that I have a finished product to say, here's how I did this, and show them the finished project along the way. And so that has put pressure on me that I felt that to go back into the garage and say, I don't have anything for this week because I'm laying pavers outside.
Mm.
And so that's when I'll just go back and I'll pick up a circular saw or pick up a jigsaw and show how to change the blade or how to use JB Weld, something along those lines, where it's an easier, helpful video that's not specifically project related, that it's an ongoing.
Eddie, share a little bit about your process of creating a video.
The mic that I'm wearing is Bluetooth and it's paired with my iPhone. And so I shoot everything that you've seen on my channel is shot with this device right here, the iPhone 13. So that being the case, Kevin has coached me quite a bit with as far as lighting and the resolution of f-stops and things along those lines. That has been tremendously helpful. And then when I take those videos, I dump them into Final Cut Pro that I use for editing. I used to use iMovie when I first started out, and it got me familiar, Rob, with the timeline and as being exposed to a timeline, which Final Cut has. So then at the time, Final Cut had an offer for 90 days for free. And so I downloaded that, started playing with it. And by that time, I was getting really close to being monetized on Google AdSense, YouTube. And so I thought, well, this might be my first big expense. So I paid for that out of my own pocket, not out of the LLC or whatever, and purchased Final Cut. I've been editing with Final Cut ever since. Shoot with my iPhone, dump into Final Cut, and then upload through Studio.
So Rob, tell us a little bit about your gear and everything, what you use.
Yeah, well, I mean, I shoot a lot just right here in this space. This is our den in our house, and I've got my own dedicated space, fortunately. And so everything's kind of stationary. I've got a camera here. It's a Canon M50 that I've had for years. I use it for Zoom calls, for filming, for YouTube, for interviews, live streams, everything. I'll even take it to when I go to conferences and kind of record content with this thing as well. But I've also started doing a lot of similar to what Eddie's doing, which is like a wireless mic that goes on the phone, on my iPhone, and starting to shoot with that as well. Even with my my video podcast, I'll just film it with this and then upload it directly to Anchor or Spotify for podcasters. And then it goes to YouTube and everything, And so, with me, I mean, I have a full-time job. I love YouTube, and so I love my channel and creating content there as well. And so I'm really trying to make things as efficient as possible. I do very little editing, still a little bit, but not as much as I used to in the early days of my channel, where I used to edit everything. Now I try to. It's almost a challenge to myself. Like, how much can I get through a video without saying or all the filler words, and how little editing can I result in at the end? And so that really helps. That's a whole nother thing. Like, a whole byproduct of being a YouTube creator now is actually my public speaking has improved. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's my editing flow. I've got a little light here that I use that I turn on for special occasions like this with Kev and Eddie. And other than that, that's really it. I try to, simple.
Rob, do you have some favorite tools that you use? It could be a tool or a bunch of tools that it's just like those are the really helps you create content.
Yeah. I mean, my go-tos in terms of tools, like software that I use, like StreamYard, like yourself, Kev, here, Ecamm as well. I've been using Opus Clip for short form stuff and just essentially taking my video podcast and feeding in through Opus. What else? Thumbnails. I'd use Adobe Express. What other stuff? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Editing is still iMovie.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I wish I could use like, Final Cut and all these other cool tools. It's again, like you have a kind of like you look at cameras and stuff. I look at tools. I'm like, that'd be so cool to use. But, I kind of look over the other side of the fence when at a lot of software every now and then. But yeah, those are my go-to. How about you? How about you guys?
Eddie, what are your favorite tools that you go to?
Well, I know there are a lot of microphones on the market that have dongles that plug into the lightning jack on phones, but I wanted to use the native Bluetooth. And so I found a mic online that uses the Bluetooth on the phone. But that forced me to get Movie Pro, which is the only video app for the mobile platform, and that uses the Bluetooth inherent. I'm like, why don't they use that more? But so this way, I don't have to have a dongle. I could just use the mic, turn it on, and it's paired with my phone, and I don't have to say, oh, where's that lightning dongle or this 10-foot lightning jack that plugs in. And so I'm just wireless, and I'm using the technology that's there. So Movie Pro, and like I've already mentioned, Final Cut Pro.
Hold your iPhone case up again.
My case?
Yeah. Let me see the backup.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Now that
branding.
Okay, guys, I want you guys to see this. That is perfect brand placement. He's got his logo there on there, and it's move it over a little so we can see it. No, the other way. There we go.
In front of the face.
Guy. Yeah,
I'm not a camera guy.
I'm not a camera guy. How do you monetize right now your channel, and maybe even what you're kind of looking forward to? Eddie, let's start with you.
I have two streams of income as far as the video goes. First is Google AdSense from being monetized on YouTube. And the second is Amazon Influencer. I got into the program early on. And so by publishing videos to Amazon in my influencer space, companies actually are reaching out to me saying, can you do a video for our product? And so I find that I had a Amazon affiliates space, but that pays pennies compared to my videos on Influencer, and I've heard others have the same experience.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? What are
your
areas of monetization?
Yeah. AdSense on YouTube. And then there's also affiliates on through YouTube primarily. And then sponsorships and some consulting. It's not a recurring thing, but yeah, those are main.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that I do some coaching and consulting as well. I've done some video production. I'm trying to kind of wean out of that. There's a couple of nonprofits I keep producing for brand deals and things like that. I think the affiliate is one of the things that people maybe sleep on sometimes. I've heard it referred to as, make money while you sleep and passive income. It's only so passive. I mean, you got to set it up, you got to go for it and things like that. And I'm in a lot of affiliate programs, but there's probably a few that really generate money. And I mean, money from like a little to okay, but I'm like, if there's an affiliate program that I can link to, that's cool. What's your advice for creators that are just starting out?
My advice for creators just starting out is the same advice for me, is that keep doing the grind, keep doing the research. Don't be content with what you know. Do a little research to find out what you don't know. Kevin, you and I have shared that some of our videos have come from not knowing how to do something, doing the research, finding out how to do it, and say, that would make a good video. So I was about to say earlier that my wife teaches second grade, and the kids in their class used to want to be YouTube creators. That's changing now that the word has gotten out that it's not as easy as everyone had made it cracked up to be. Right. And so I would just encourage folks to do the work, but get out there and hit publish, hit record and hit publish.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? What's
Love
your
that.
best advice for creators?
Yeah. I think as soon as you can, find a couple guys like Eddie, like Kev, that you really click with, that are creators, that are sort of on the same, journey as you, and connect with them, because there's going to be rough patches, and you're going to need a few good. I want to say a few good men, but some good people around you,
Right.
that you can, like, hey man, that was a rough video, or like, hey, I don't know what to do with my channel, and have other people kind of speak. Just like any aspects of your life, have people
Yeah.
around you for those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as you can, do that.
Yeah. And I would add to those, because I think those are great too. Is be okay with experimenting and trying different things.
Yes.
Right.
I love Colin and Samir, and know that over the course of their career, just on YouTube, how much they've changed. And they even did like house tours at one point. And I think it was Mr. Beast that kind of called him out on that video. I was like, what the heck was that? They're like, we were trying everything. And
Yeah.
I think, try vlogging, try video podcasting, or just
Yes.
podcasting, a live stream. And don't be afraid to do that, because you may find a way to communicate that you hadn't even thought about.